If you had to give one piece of advice, Kevin, to other agency owners that want to hit the multi 7, 8 figure mark, what would it be?
So if you're going through hell, keep going. So something bad is going to happen when you're running your agency. I guarantee it. And it's not your fault. If it is your fault, whatever, you just got to keep going. I've been burned before. I don't really understand this. Maybe it'll work. And I'll say, hey, I don't want to have my team spend the first 3 months trying to convince you we're not making stuff up. So let's just either part ways or decide that you're going to actually embrace what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And we're going to work together.
So for other multi 7 figure agency owners, what do you feel has been the key to helping you, or the one growth lever that's helped you get your agency to where you're at? All right, guys. Today I'm joined by Kevin Roy, founder and CEO of Green Banana SEO, a Boston-based digital agency famous for pioneering pay for performance SEO and delivering measurable ROI across 1,000 plus clients over 30 industries. Kevin has led the team since 2009, earning a 3 times spot on the Inc. 5000 list and recognition in the Boston Business Journal's Fast 50. Kevin, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. Not a problem. So tell us a little bit about your journey up until where you're at, and up until, today.
That's a long journey. So I finished graduate school a long time ago and ended up getting really lucky in getting a job at a company called eRoom Technology that was a like collaboration software like Basecamp, or now it's like, Teams. And I used to run the trade shows, but I was cubby mates with the web guy. And the web guy and I became really close. And he said, hey, I've got a rec for my team, and I can also send you to take some night classes at MIT to learn how to code. Do you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, sure I do. So, because we were in Cambridge and I lived in Boston. And so I did that. And long story short, like he ends up leaving, I take over his position. The company grows, it gets acquired by EMC. My boss ends up leaving, and then the VP ended up of marketing ended up leaving, and my entire team, got let go. And then I was doing like web updates on the website at a director level salary. So I knew, like, EMC doesn't need any more web people. So they were handing out severance packages. I took one, bought a computer, and went to 3 local business and said, this was back before people had good websites. And I said, hey, I'll build you a website for free. If you like it, tell your friends, just don't tell them it was free. And that's how the company started. So I got so busy, I ended up finding some random company on Craigslist to help me do stuff. Then I was sending them so much stuff. They recommended a guy, this guy, Mark, and then he and I became business partners, and we started to grow. We grew the company, and then I ended up buying him out, and that's where we are today.
Awesome. Very interesting journey. So for other multi 7 figure agency owners, what do you feel has been the key to helping you, or the one growth lever that's helped you get your agency to where you're at today?
But one growth lever, if I had to pick one, I would say focus on building relationships, because in the world that we're in tech, people hire us because they don't understand what we do. There are some people, unfortunately, that take advantage of it, but if you foster a trusting relationship and you build relationships with your clients, then, like, even to this day, like, we still get most of our business through referrals. And because we're constantly trying to help our clients grow and succeed, and the team as a whole ends up just building relationships with our clients. And I really think that's almost more important than any of the technology. So even though we're advancing in the technology that we're offering, things are consistently changing. But if you have a close relationship with your client, like, we just started to offer ranking in LLMs and, AI like Grok and Chat GPT, and our clients are going to use us over anybody else because they trust us. So, that I would say is the most important thing.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting, because I know in the agency space, churn is it's such a big challenge. And so if you can build those relationships and keep them on, instead of, you know, churning, they're
Yeah.
actually investing more with you and growing with you.
Yeah, it's really hard to do that. In the last, year and a half, we've really focused on on every agency has churn, but we really looked into the things that were causing that. And, the biggest issue that we were having that was causing some customer churn was communication. So it's making sure that the team knows exactly what you talked about in the sales process, and that is delivered and, clarified through the entire relationship, because it's really easy to get people confused and frustrated, especially in the beginning of it. So we work really hard now saying, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. These are this is our reporting. Does this make sense to you? And making sure that is fostered through the entire relationship. And actually, if you look at the clients that we have, like our top clients would be a big out of home company, a big bank, and a massive installation contractor. So three completely different businesses. They're on the phone with us every single week. And they have been on the phone with us, two of them we've had for more than 10 years, one of them we've had for more than 5. And so we're growing together. It still has not been we've not been able to set it and forget it after that long, and that would tell you something. Like, you're consistently learning what's changing in the client's business or the industry or the company, and we're adapting what we're doing, and we're sharing how we're doing it with the client, and it just makes the projects better rather than kinda keeping them in a vacuum and saying, "This is what we did, deal with it." Right?
Super valuable insight. And so there's always that awkward stage where you're navigating growth, but fulfillment and sales
Yeah.
are, are at capacity. So for you, when you first start to cross that 1-2 million mark, what broke first and how did you fix it?
So truthfully, what broke first was retention. So we were just taking things on, right, without thinking about it, but it started to screw up our reputation, which understandably is super, super important. So what we started to do was focus on the right type of engagement. So when a sale is coming in, one of the first things that like, for me, a red flag is if they're starting the relationship off already not trusting you. I've been burned before. I don't really understand this. Maybe it'll work. And I'll say, hey, I don't want to have my team spend the first 3 months trying to convince you we're not making stuff up. So let's just either part ways or decide that you're going to actually embrace what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, and we're going to work together. If they're still kind of giving me a funny feeling, I don't take it. Now, it's easy to say when you have enough revenue to do that. So I don't want to be like I don't want to be judgy to people that are growing, that are taking everything they can, because I did that for what, 10 years. I just kept taking stuff on and trying to make everything work. And as small as a project, I'd take it. A big project, I'd take it. And I made a lot of mistakes doing that. And one of the things too that I noticed is that, let's say you're managing a Google Ads campaign for someone. You're managing a $2,000 a month Google Ads campaign or a $20,000 a month Google Ads campaign. It is not 10 times more work to manage the 20,000 than the 2,000. It's more work, but it is nowhere near 10 times. So what you find is that you're spending almost as much time on the $2,000 one as the $20,000 one. So that's something that it took me a long time to realize, that, like, cost studies, time studies, and, getting feedback from the team.
How does your your client acquisition strategy change based off of that data?
We get a lot of stuff online because of our rankings, but we get a lot of referrals. So usually if it's a referral from a good client, they're almost always they're usually a good fit. But now one of the things that we're doing is asking revenue questions. So, like, anybody that's running digital knows that it takes usually 3 to 6 months to start to really to have it really start to sing, to do really well. If you're doing SEO, it takes 3 months to start to rank. So if a client comes on and they're like, "This is all the money I have, a less than $100,000 a year in revenue, and I am, betting my entire existence on this working," don't take them on. They're going to be super stressed out. They're going to want to bail early. When you have month 2 that isn't going that great, they're going to freak out. The bigger clients know that's going to happen, and that they're patient with you until that success starts to happen. And it does happen. It just takes a while. Sometimes, like one of our largest clients, month 1, we were hitting the cover off the ball, and I remember calling the VP and I said, "I know you're excited. Don't get too excited. This is an anomaly." No, it right. So
Bring
it's
it
still
down a little.
it's still kept going in a great direction, but it is very rare to hit a positive ROAS month one. It's like every single dot just ended up on the on the right tip at the exact same time. That doesn't usually happen that way.
It's nice when it does, though.
It's super nice when it does, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
one for the good guys. That's cool. So, knowing that you've been in business for since
Nine.
2009, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you set your growth targets for, like, let's say the next year? Are you thinking 5, 10 years out, or are you still setting targets at like a one, like 6 month, 12
So
month, 2 year, 3 year?
I set like a 5 year. One of the, where so we have been at a slow, steady climb, which is nice. But in order to really ramp, we need to start going outside of what we're normally doing now. Like have to do aggressive lead generation and aggressive sales. And those are, to be completely frank, I don't really know how to do that. So you know, that's one of the things I'm exploring this year is how I can do it correctly. And also making sure that your salespeople aren't making false promises just to hit a commission. That's super important. I take the final answer for all the sales here, but it's easy for me to do that because no one's going to fire me. So I can turn a client down where a salesperson will like, hey, I need this to hit my quota, even if it's the wrong one. So I'm struggling with that and how to put some guardrails up against that.
Got it. And are you currently primarily responsible for all the sales yourself, or do you have team members support?
I still do it because I have a consultant that's been phenomenal and he said, you still need to do it. So I had a salesperson that wasn't doing that great and I just parted ways and here I am. So, but we have systems that people that help do the proposals. And so that, that keeps my time a little bit more free.
Got it. That makes sense. And in terms of scaling sales, then you have to also think about scaling the back end fulfillment side, right?
Yeah.
How do you think about balancing those two pieces?
That doesn't really worry me because so I have an amazing core team. Like, we have it broken up into experts and implementers. Implementers are generally pretty not easy to get. It's hard to get a good person, but you don't need like running a $100,000 a month Google Ads campaign. You need someone that's amazing, that's been doing it for a long time, but you don't need someone that's been doing it for a long time to help them, right? So like create the reporting and do some of the busy work so we can scale into that and then grow those people. Like one of the things that we do is we have a local college here that sends us interns and they're amazing. And we throw really hard stuff at them and we tell them if it doesn't work, don't worry about it. Don't freak out. You're not being graded on this. If you completely screw it up, it's fine. And they're not working on customer stuff. They're working on things that they can screw up. And I'm like blown away at how quickly they're adapting. Like we just hired an intern because I just kept throwing things at him and he was like, "Oh, this is done." I'm like, "It can't be done. How can you be done this quick?" And I looked at it. I'm like, "Wow, I can't do that fast." So, so that's what we do. And then we brought him on to support the paid media team. For the SEO team, we still have copywriters, and even though we use AI to help them, but we have coders. So we have copywriters that write the copy. We have coders. We have the manager that works with the clients and directs the copywriters and the coders on what to do. Those things, as we grow, we'll need more coders and copywriters. That's not super hard to find. And it's also really easy to check if they're doing it right or not.
Got it. So that's really interesting. So you almost have an in-house innovation team of like this new, fresh, young blood that's coming in with new ideas, that's using
Yeah.
probably new technologies and is like
Yeah.
solving problems at a whole different level than you would.
It's so cool. And yeah, and that's great. It's a really great point that you meant because if you foster that, like, thankfully, like, we're not competitive as a team and we don't have egos. And so, if like one of the things that I tell people here, if you like, someone will say, "Hey, I figured this out," like on a call, like a one-on-one call with me, and I'm like, and they're like, "What do you mean, and?" I'm like, "Who else did you tell?" Right? Like, this is awesome. Did you tell everybody else? Like, this is a really cool tool that can help me or help other people. Like I was a high school kid. Now, he's a college kid here doing like a summer internship. And he just showed me how to do something in Gemini that I didn't know how to do. Like, so cool, right? Yeah.
That's awesome. That's super cool. I love that you are embracing it. I think a lot of larger successful businesses, they can kind of be a little reluctant to that, but sounds like you're not. You're like, bring it on. We want to see. We want to be proven wrong.
Yeah, but I think I get the large, but it's a fine line. Like if McDonald's didn't have a process for absolutely everything, down to opening the store and making the fries and like what the temperature of the stuff was, it wouldn't scale. So you need to have, like, we have a process, but I'm like always freaking out about the flexibility and the process too. But if you don't have a process, you can't scale. So I can see a big company saying, stick to the process, right? Because it's worked. So I guess you have to have both brains to be able to do that, or a team that is flexible enough to be able to change the process or at least evaluate changes. So that's one of the things, like, I get pushback from my team on, like, I spend about 100 hours a year studying SEO because I love it. I'm in a mastermind group. I'll learn something new, reach out to the SEO director. I'm like, oh, we got to try this. And the first thing she'll say is, wait, we'll try it, but let's make sure that we understand what we're doing right now, which is the right thing to do. She's not saying no, but saying, chill out, Kev, right? Let's make sure everything else that you changed, it's not going to screw up what you want us to do now. Right. So
That makes a lot of sense. Like, let's implement, but with constraints in ice or in like a test environment, so we can truly see the results. If you had to give one piece of advice, Kevin, to other agency owners that want to hit the multi 7, 8 figure mark, what would it be?
So if you're going through hell, keep going. So something bad is going to happen when you're running your agency. I guarantee it. And it's not your fault. If it is your fault, whatever, you just got to keep going. Like, we had a salesperson steal millions of dollars of business and employees, and then come around and sue us for the commission on the sales that he stole to put us out of business, which is why I own the company now, because my business partner got kind of, you know, basically stressed him out, and I was able to buy him out. And the entire time that was happening, I just said, as long as I'm making a little bit of progress, you know, it'll be fine. I just got to keep moving. So I think that's something, like, whatever business that you're in, not if something crappy happens, when something crappy happens, you're going to get through it. You just got to just keep moving forward, and eventually you'll get out of it.
Wow, that's yeah, that's really intense. But I'm glad that you survived that and you kept going.
Yeah. And like, the company is 10 times better than it was before it happened. So it was, I don't think I would change. I would love to not have this, the 4 years of sleepless nights and stress, but I don't think I would change it because the outcome was great.
That's awesome. Well, before we wrap up here, Kevin, is there anything that you wanted to announce or anything that you're excited to share?
One thing I'm super excited to share is we just launched our, you know, answer engine optimization, or, ranking in ChatGPT and Perplexity and Grok. And so we have a model that will go in and scan where you're ranked in the different answer engines, so the different AI engines. And we build a plan to get you to appear more in those searches. Now, the cool thing about it is it's all SEO. So I don't know if you ever run a search, I don't know what model you use, but if you run chat, it says, oh, and it looks things up on the internet, right? So it's, what we found is that, like, Perplexity and Chat and Sonar and Claude, they think different things are important. So they're grabbing from different sources, but it's still all content that's out on the internet. And so we can build a plan to get you ranked in the.
That's really interesting. I would love to learn more. Where can people find that, or where can they learn more about that?
So you can come to our homepage. We have I think it's right on the homepage. It talks about that. And if anybody wants to get in touch with me, just Google I just met Kevin, and then my page comes up.
That's some serious SEO. I just met Kevin.
Yeah, that was fun. I kept forgetting my business card. I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do?
I'm gonna make this search rank. That's actually really cool. So everybody search I just met Kevin,
There you
um,
go.
and check
Yeah.
out this new AI ranking tool that Kevin and his team built. Kevin, thanks so much for coming on the
Yeah,
podcast.
this is great. Thank you for having me.
No problem.